And is it a fake self-defense tool? And this is an important question that I've had in my mind recently because I've been injured. Actually, I had surgery for hip replacement. I've been lying in bed first for a while. I was on the Zimmer frame for a while, the walker. And then I graduated eventually to my walking cane. Hold on, I'm going to move the camera a little bit so you can see it. And as I went through various stages of healing and inability to move or challenges with my movement, I've gone through a lot of training in my head, thinking about things and thinking about scenarios and how would you defend yourself. And I know a lot of you have asked me these questions because your reality is you might have more physical challenge. You might be confined to a wheelchair. And we talked a lot on this channel about what you do in a wheelchair. You might use a cane for mobility. So you can't just pick up your cane and hit somebody. But we had all these conversations and it's all been theoretical. And I've had a lot of appreciation and empathy for anybody who has physical limitations, real physical limitations that I did not have or have not had. And I got to experience a lot in the last several weeks. So as I've gone through several different stages of my healing, being confined to bed because of the hip replacement, and then having to get up and start to walk around. And for the first few weeks, I was on this cane. But I also wanted to, in that weakened state, in that state of a lot of physical pain and instability, and not having the core strength to hold myself up in the way that I normally can or normally could before my procedure, I wanted to experience what it's like. And if this is really a real self-defense tool, this is a legit self-defense tool that you can use. I don't want to promote this if it isn't. It always made sense to me when I was more able-bodied that I can generate the most force, and because I can take this anywhere I go because of the ADA laws, this is the best self-defense tool that I've ever seen. However, in my experience, what I'm trying to say is I got to be humbled by the physical need that I had to improve my mobility, to get my hip replaced. And they put you under, they chop up the bone, they stick some things in there, and then in a few weeks I'll be back to moving, and then a few months I can do some of the things I used to do, but it's a slow process. So as I went through this training at the house, sitting in my chair, I started to think, is this really effective? And as I've demonstrated before, you can do all of the exercises standing or sitting. So I did them all sitting. And the first thing that I went through when I wanted to decide if this is a fake self-defense tool, we talk about canes and self-defense, we talk about practicality, principles and techniques. Is this going to be something that anybody can do? And the answer is no. I mean, there's going to be limitations that keep people from doing certain things, but most of us can do this. And if you're in a wheelchair, I know a lot of you have sent me messages that you can do this, and you do this spinning. And the purpose of this spinning, for practical reasons, is to start to build strength in the hands and the wrist, build callus in the hands, and start to improve your handling of the cane, your proprioception, your space and time. And you can do this standing, you can do this seated. I did this in the kitchen table, not in front of the table, but on the kitchen chair, facing the opposite way with enough room that I could get around. And so I'm able to do this in both hands. You're able to do this in both hands if you have that mobility, even if you can't stand, is my point. Now, the second thing that I wanted to practice and understand is, what can I do with my cane for self-defense, for practical self-defense? The spinning is a warm-up. A spinning is a way to build strength, and it forces you to engage your core a little bit. And I'll be honest, it's easier when I'm standing than when I'm sitting. But can it be done when you're sitting? Is it a fake self-defense tool? Or is there some legitimate power that you're generating when you start to swing this thing around and then can come down on the top of somebody's head? And the first answer is yes. The spinning for self-defense in a seated position, whether you're in a wheelchair or you're seated waiting for the bus, you're on a train. I don't think you can do it in a plane because it's too small. But yes, you can defend yourself with some of these spins. You can bring this back and forth and generate maximum amounts of pressure. You can come down at the angles, just in extending your reach. You can see how far the tip is away from me. This is my heavier self-defense training cane. This is the Dojo training cane. This is the least expensive that Cane Masters makes. The links are below if you want to see what they really cost. And this is one of their fancier canes. You can see it has the edge here. I'll show you. I still limp a little bit. Yeah, not everything is better than nothing and better than a blade. Yeah, and I'm gonna do a video and we're gonna talk about this too, because I have a lot of ideas and a lot of thoughts. I carry this with me all the time, and there are reasons to use it and reasons to never use it. There are a lot of good reasons that you would carry it, in addition to having something to open a box or pry the lid off the thing. I do so much with this every single day that has nothing to do with self-defense, but it is also a great self-defense tool. Anyway, the point is, using this cane with this wrap here gives you a better grip, and because they've created this teardrop, you can see that, you've removed some of the material. It's still made out of oak, or you can have it made out of hickory. This is still going to compress flesh, and it's going to break bones. You're going to have a lot of force and do a lot more damage with this cane than you will with this one. It's also lighter because that wood has been removed. It's created this teardrop shape. So having a little bit of an upgrade, and you can take a standard cane, and with a file or a draw knife, if you know how to woodwork a little bit, or even just a carving knife, you can make some of those adjustments yourself if you were to use a regular store-bought cane. And the point is, you can create a lot of force there. So the other things that I was thinking about and practiced and wanted to experience while I'm in this condition that I can't, I'm able to walk around a little bit more today without my cane the last couple days, but for 2 weeks, I'm sitting or I'm standing. If I'm standing, I've got a cane. But in this position, in the seated position still, there are a lot of things that you can do with it. In your center line, which is where most of your power is going to be, you're going to be able to generate the most force and power. And as somebody were to come into you, you can bring it straight up into their face in this position, pushing up and in. You have this nice tooth here, this beveled. I just remembered I'm on a rolling chair. I can come closer. You got this nice tooth here. You can smash that, right? Using this as almost like a fist, and you can bring it in and rake that through his face. You can reach in and pull him in, and then smash with your elbow in this seated position. You can bring the bottom side up, bringing it between his legs, smashing forward like a rifle butt. When I was in the military, I learned over and over and over. It was literally beat into us as we did our pugil stick training and we did our bayonet training, fighting with the weapon. Here's another reason to have one of these. Every infantryman knows that when you run out of, then you fix your blade, right? You fix bayonets, and then you're ready to fight. So there's one reason you carry one of those for self-defense. Put that away for now. We'll talk about that later. Bring this in here, bring this up in this way. You can come into this push-up position. You can smash through somebody. You can box their ears. And the point is, you can bring this down on top. You can generate so much force even in a seated position. Yeah, the comment was you can hit pressure points too. Pressure points are all over. Especially, think about this. The most pressure points that are going to be most effective for you in self-defense are going to be in his face, right? You're going to be able to smash the nose. I'm having some connectivity issues here in my office. Smashing with two hands, you can do a lot of things with this. And again, there you have this this beveled edge, this tooth. So talking about principles of self-defense, when we talk about canes and self-defense, with the principles, practicality, and techniques. Principles are, what can you remove or destroy? His ability to see, breathe, temporarily or permanently. Yeah, I just saw the comment, you need a shillelagh. I've got 7 shillelaghs of different lengths and different sizes and different purposes. I'm a big fan of the shillelagh. We'll talk about that this week too. But the point is, yes, in a seated position, is this a fake self-defense tool for a person who is disabled or who doesn't have the same strength, or somebody who's older? I heard the comment that maybe they're flat-footed, grandma, grandpa, and they're just going to they're going to get knocked down. And the answer is maybe, but I'd rather have a fighting chance. And if you have something, is better than nothing, just like Hank said earlier. So I'm going to go with that. Yeah, maybe it's going to happen, right? But it's going to happen either way. I got this comment a lot after I had the procedure on the hip. I caught the flu like 3 days later, and then I was really bedridden. Now, I don't know if it was flu or the whatever the international cold that goes around. I'm not sure what it was, but it knocked me off my feet, and I couldn't stand on my feet already. So I was out. Nicholas, everybody, it's great to see you guys here again. I missed you. We're going to start doing this again on a regular basis. I'm on the other side of healing. I'm scheduled for the right hip to be replaced in May. So I've got 8 weeks to recover, and in May we're going to go through it again. But now I know what to expect. I'm going to be ready for the recovery on that one. So let's get out of the chair and talk about what happens when you have to move that out of the way so don't break it. That's a nice chair. It's not mine. I'm going to lift this up, please. Thank you. All right. So you need one to lean on. And I, for the first few weeks, I don't know if it's in my head, the doctor told me, hey, you know, after you get this done, I'm going to go down a little bit. After you get this done, you know, you're good to go. You don't need any therapy. The way they do it now, they go in the front, they don't cut any muscle. They just pull it apart, saw the bone off, shove the thing in, put you back together. But there's a lot of swelling and there's a lot of soft tissue damage from all that stretching and stuff. And he told me, self-defense mindset, you're ready. You have a hair trigger, right? You're ready. You just hope no one messes with you, because a tiger, wounded bear, you know, they don't want to mess with you. You're on the other edge of that, the other side of that thing, and you might not be as strong or as fast. Your viciousness goes way up. You get this scale of viciousness as a wounded animal. They don't mess with you, right? But the second thing was, I didn't feel comfortable not leaning on the cane. So if I were to have just one cane, and you know I have many canes, if I were to just have one cane, or I'm going to fall to the ground. And that's the one thing the doctor said, don't fall. You know, I can pick that up. I can smash here. I can bring it down on top. I can bring it here. Two hands smash. I can close the distance, box his ears, bring it down on top, bring it up through his throat for self-defense. But I didn't feel like I could do that the last few weeks. So instead, when I needed to go out, I carried two canes, one to lean on, and you lean on your good side because you can't lean on your bad side. And then you hit with the other hand, and you can still do a lot of these techniques. You might not close with and destroy the way you did before. Again, it's better than nothing. Hello, Daniel. It's good to see you. The point is, can you defend yourself with a cane? Is it better than avoiding it in the first place? Yeah, always. If you can avoid in the first place, get out of there. If you have no other choice and you have two canes, you can lean on one and fight with the other one. And some of you guys know that. Matthew, we've talked about that many times. You guys have seen enough of these videos, for those of you who have, that we've talked about fighting with two canes. You can pop this, reach, bring two, catching them with that big nasty tooth there, and then ripping something out, bringing that. So you can use one cane. But if you have two, you carry one in each hand. One is for walking, and the other one is for defending. And again, is it the same as if you were able to stand up without using a cane and defend yourself? No, it can't be. But can you still practice over and over again using one-handed techniques, leaning on the other one, and get stronger and better and figure out what you can do? And that might be you can do. They don't know. I don't know. You don't even know. Only God knows what you can do. And we all know that if you start to move in one direction and you don't give up and you keep going, you're either going to get stronger, faster, smoother, or you're going to learn. And one of those things, or all of those things, will happen. And if you can't get stronger, you can't get faster, if those are your real one for self-defense, maybe your choice is to use it as a gray man option, because you bring this with you everywhere you go. And I wanted to show you this, because I whipped this out and studied it while I was lying in bed. This is your mobility device, an ambulatory tool. Bring it back with us. Out, it can't stop you from taking it places. You can take a break if you need. This is on the Cane Master's website. The link is below. Just go and write it down and put a piece of paper in your wallet, in your purse. Are disabled. The point is, it's nobody's business. Explain it. And having something like this with you, if someone were to question your use of the cane or your right to carry it wherever you want to go, because in case this goes everywhere you go, right? You can take this to the plane, pretty much everywhere. And it's going to stop everything, obviously, but you can stop a lot of things from hurting you.